Just when you think the VCS split is over, they add another day because we've got tiebreakers. Team Wales and SBTC have ended up deadlocked for second place. My name is Carrick. With me is the lovely Marminogi. And Marby, why don't you give us a rundown on these two teams?
So, yeah, these two teams have had fairly similar trajectories over the course of the split, I would say. They had very tumultuous sort of early weeks, some good results, some close matches against, like, GARM, for example. But they were sort of up and down, found quite a few losses, but towards the back end of the split, they've really ramped up. They've taken big wins. SBTC was able to actually beat Wales in their last meeting, but both taking down Cerberus pretty effectively, both cleaning up the bottom of the board. It's really just that GARM that stood in the way. It's a 1-1 for each of them in the head-to-head in terms of series. So this should be both of them at pretty much where they should be at, like, roughly peak. Hopefully they'll peak a little bit higher as they move into actual playoffs, but this is the best they've looked across the split. And this should hopefully be a good matchup because, as we said, they haven't been able to beat GAM. Obviously, GAM's undefeated. And you want to avoid that in the first round.
Yeah, so just to explain to everyone, it is a best of 3. The winner will be going to second place. The loser will be third. And that actually is a really important distinction. Because the way the Vietnamese playoffs works is the first place team, which is the undefeated juggernaut of GARM, will be picking who they play in the first round. So if you come second, they can't pick you. So second place is very, very coveted, but into draft we go. And we see Pai LeBlanc Varus, Zaya Wukong Sejuani removed.
Yeah, this is quite interesting. We've seen a lot of the Zaya priority bans coming through because it's one of the best AD carries. Every ADC is proficient on it. The Lee Sin lock-in would be interesting, but I'm actually seeing Vinboys in there kind of gives me a read into a little bit of what SBTC's mental is. I think they're kind of coming into the impression that GARM's going to just pick Cerberus no matter what. I think might be their read on it, and so they're going to just field Vinboys, not show themselves at full strength with Slater in there, give the young gun a couple runs, and because these would end up just as extra games, because if Cerberus gets picked by GARM, it means nothing, but early lock-in for the Lee Sin for DNK, and now Vit and B are going to try and play a very aggressive lane with this Caitlyn pick. We'll have to see what goes alongside it. Classic Lux.
Yep, Lux Caitlyn, the classic ultra-aggressive, ultra-dominant bot lane. If Vit and B are able to pilot that one well, that'll be really good to see. Vit, of course, has been a player much maligned, but has been picking up recently. I don't want to count him out on that one. But he will have, quite a lot to do, because if this lane somehow falls behind, it's a bit of a disaster for the Wales. Looking back over to SBTC, Lucian Nami makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, that seems to be sort of one of the choices that comes on through. It could have been a Zeri angle for Vinboys. That seems like I would have thought a Zeri Lulu might have worked out a little bit better, but now Killer Queen is going to grab the Elise. This is sort of come in a little bit in priority recently. I'm not sure why, because this is well after its period of absolute dominance, but they're going to grab it up. Then it's on to trying to ban out some solo laners. Mid lane looks to be the target.
Makes a lot of sense. Both teams sort of have their star players in the mid lane, in Dia1 and Glory. I mean, I know it says Glory too, but it is the same guy. Just one of those name changes. VCS players seem to
faster,
love.
Stronger, less prone to winting.
It's Dia1 versus Glory 2. You kind of love that symmetry. But Jack's also being taken away Jace by SBTC. So a bit of focus onto the top lane as well. It makes sense taking away a strong champion from Nagia. Nagia is someone who's been having an absolute banger of a split, has been really putting himself right up in the conversation. with the best top laners, will get himself that Cassante as well. Tank that you're able to do a hell of a lot of plays on. Can we see some Dragon?
Dragon would be a bit of a bold one to block in blind. From knowing Glory's champion pool, it's not necessarily as aggressive. I think blocking the Gwen here makes a lot of sense, and then just give yourself a little bit more time to think. It's a good counter pick. Emperor is a fantastic carry player. This Gragas would be a good deny, but it does feel a little lacking on the... actually, your damage is pretty good, but...
It is interesting. They don't have a great team fight. Just needs to be said. And Olaf is just slammed. That's mid-lap.
No. That's Cassante mid.
Cassante mid.
That's 100% Cassante mid. Feels really comfortable into that. And then you get to completely bully the laning phase of Gwen as this Olaf. I'm fairly sure it could be mid Olaf, but that doesn't seem as likely. And then in the mid lane, you just have a pretty standard beefy fella versus beefy fella matchup that shouldn't really amount to too much, just rather who gets the most lane control for their jungler to work through. This is gonna be spicy. I'm gonna have to get 100% confirmation, but I'm pretty sure that's gonna be a very interesting top lane matchup to watch between the Olaf and the Gwen.
My understanding of that matchup is that it's not particularly interesting. It's just Gwen getting slaughtered because Olaf can just run her down, and he just chains the axes. Gwen can do very, very little about it, and he just kills her over and over and over. Look, I remember when Gwen was at her strongest. I'm still scarred by it, so I'm cool with watching her die a bunch of times. Absolutely no complaints from me. But Cassante mid, that's just going to be a farm, whatever. He's just going to do Cassante things. Overall, two really, really interesting team comps. Who are you actually favoring out of the draft?
I think it's going to come down to a lot of what Killer Queen can do. He's got lots of priority in both side lanes. Doesn't have the best setup in top side, but Gwen is not as likely to be taking very much of a defensive summon a spell like Flash. Will probably have the Ghost, but if you can maybe make the way up there, but that might be best left on its own, and you just cover it. I think, it's going to be interesting, because I feel like you have great side lane priority coming up from the side of Team Wales, but the mid lane should probably go in terms of push prior to the Gragas, especially once he's got a bit of mana under his belt. He can spam out those barrels, so gonna be interested to see if Killer Queen can make it work, find some angles and taps onto the Gragas, or team up with the Lux to get the game rolling in a way that is snowballed out of control. And because I think Wales has a better snowball, and SBTC doesn't actually have very good answers to that snowball, or better scaling to try and hold on with, I think this is Wales.
I hate seeing tech pools come up. Spoons don't do this to us. Oh no.
I have been told.
Oh no. It wouldn't be VCS without a good old tech pause, would it? But something we haven't really talked about was there was an Elise pick. So that early game jungler is there. Where's that going? Because I feel like ganking the Gragas in the mid lane when you're pairing up with the Cassante, not super profitable. I think Gragas can pretty much always belly bop out of that. Top lane, maybe, but it's kind of hard to set up onto the Gwen without, the guaranteed stuns. We might have to come back to it because the chickens have got something going on.
This kind of leans into it because I do think you want to run it through the Lux. That's kind of putting all your eggs in one basket, perhaps, because you kind of look at Elise and Lux and you think these two need to be ahead, because from ahead they're insanely strong and insanely impressive, but from behind they kind of fall apart. Great ward will make the whole thing fall apart and give time for Team Wales to get counter information in exchange for 10 gold. That's gonna work out extremely well. But the brush priority goes to SBTC, so they might be able to hold a little bit of control early on and stop this push from Vit and B going to getting to a point where it's just unmanageable.
Yeah, it is interesting because they sort of have to get the jump on them. That was ugly, DNK. We all saw that.
What?
He eat early.
Oh,
the damage didn't actually hit. Doesn't matter. It is interesting because should a 2v2 break out in the bot lane, there is an extra combat summoner on the side of Team Wales, so it needs to be managed well by SBTC. They obviously are playing extremely powerful lane champions, but you can already see just the auto attacks from the Lux adding up.
Yeah, you're sort of seeing it's that double bounce from Paulette. Being able to get those off is keeping SBTC in a pretty healthy place right now, and it might grant them the level 2 early. Yeah, definitely after this sort of pressure, keeping them off the minions. Yeah, this means that it's going to take a little bit of time for Team Wales to regain control, unless this Elise who has started topside can puff down and make something happen to this pushed up lane, but maybe DNK can sort of sniff it out as he's going straight into this river. He wants to either find Elise or maybe make this pressure come to a head where they can't go can't set up a play.
Oh, flash belly bot, Glory, flashing, dashing. Should be able to get under his tower, but that's mid lane flash trades.
Yeah, flash trade force. That's going to be pretty good for DO1 in the ongoing process. DNK maybe looking for the repeat. He's not actually gone into his jungle. Yep, that's a good bait.
Oh, and Glory does dash away. There's the Sonic Wave coming in. He gets him under tower.
Ooh. All right.
Exciting stuff for DNK with the quick fingers to ward hop out. And up in the top side, remember how I said this lane goes? It is Olaf repeatedly killing a Gwen. And that's exactly what's happened.
Looks like in the bot lane, B and B tried to get things back to their own hands. Okay, DNK has stopped the bag, but
he doesn't win this.
The Q, he probably has enough execute down.
He doesn't win. No, he doesn't win this. Gwen's there. Down on the bot side, Paulette taking a lot of damage, and the piece is made with that Piltover Peacemaker. Nagia needs to find a way out. Can't do it. DO1 takes him down. Yeah. What a start, Marvy. What a start to our tie breaks.
Not sure how Nagia got, why Nagia was still there, or because it seemed like he might have had a way out, but nope. That's going to be interesting. This is going to be the kill on top side. There's not much to say about.
He's just going to ghost. He's just going to ghost and run him down. Yep.
Ghost,
here we go.
Ghost, bang, auto, bang. Do a lot of damage. This is the first part. Oh, actually, Killer Queen flashing over that Dragon Pit wall in case to avoid the actual bush, the Warden River Brush. So they have no idea Killer Queen's here. This is huge. They're gonna put out a lot of damage onto Paulette. He does sidestep all the CC, but the damage is enough to run that down, and we also saw Nagia could not get away, so all in all, 2 for 1 across the board. That's coming up great for Team Wales.
It is. Now, an unfortunate thing to look at is that despite the fact that Nagia did get traded back, none of the gold went over onto Enber, so it hasn't made his life any easier. No, it went on to DO1, who, don't get me wrong, Gragas likes getting early kills, but I just fundamentally don't think it changes very much about a matchup into a Cassante. This is still just going to be a farm first.
Yeah, no, it's not. It's the point about the DNK is mostly it's not assisted gold, so it's not an assisted kill. So that's just a little bit of that gold to tier 1. That top lane play comes out extremely gold positive for Nagia. He also managed to crash a wave. You can see he's built up about a wave advantage in the CS. Meanwhile, SBTC constantly getting pretty good engage.
Glory's popped his ult. He's got all out.
He sure
he's just doing it to get. He's just doing it to get shove. I think they're just trying to get prio.
Yeah, I think if that knockback had landed, maybe that would have spelt something from Killer Queen. As Thin Boys has taken some punishment. Didn't see that, but presumably it was Q into trap.
Yep, probably a Lux Q into the Caitlyn follow-up, the way it always goes. Killer Queen and DNK encountering each other. Glory actually really well. Lovely reaction time there. Dashes away from the belly bop as well. DO1's engaged completely diffused. However, now DNK coming in, he's going to kick him in the head. No, he's not. Glory on the dodge, left, right. Can he stay alive? He can! No!
bit cocky there, which after doing some pretty fancy footwork makes a bit of sense. But yeah, he kind of stuck. He stuck around too long, especially with Killer Queen going up. He didn't try to dodge away at all.
On the top side, ults are traded, and Gwen doesn't have any counterplay to that.
Yeah, that's now Gwen knows what it's like to be walked out and auto attacked to death, I suppose.
Yeah, it's kind of beautiful.
And this is just kind of that first blood diff now
lands.
coming into effect. The problem is, you hit Olaf, he gets stronger. I'm sorry to tell you that a low health Olaf does a lot of damage. Very quickly kills the Gwen, and now has at least a tower plate in the top side. So this top lane lead is getting pretty big. I'm gonna see how Emperor can try and hold on. Has to get towards that unleashing Leah to try and have any sort of recovery against Nagia's own inbuilt sustain.
Killer Queen moving in. Will spot DNK on this red buff. Just going to force him back for now. I don't think he wants to overcommit to this, given that the bot lane is around. Steals away the red, has the repel, doesn't get it off in time for the bubble, goes up now, tries to get away to Tier 1, but will get blown up by the Gragas. Now the bot lanes are reinforcing for both teams. Glory is here, Q from Lux will miss. Paulette over the wall. They've got a numbers advantage. Team Wales, it could be in a lot of trouble. D&K on the run, flashing away. But look at the damage coming out from Vin Boys. B over the wall, straight into the arms of Tier 1. The party barrier goes in. Bit desperately trying to get the damage done, but he can't do it in time. Glory, the only one left alive in a 3v1. He's going all out, but has to run away. Flashing over the wall, he will be the lone survivor as Team Wales goes way too deep and get absolutely wrecked.
Decisions were sure made there. They really just pushed up and into the 3v4 with no real cause. Like, just leave. They just had to leave. I guess they might sort of kind of got cut off by Vinvoice, but once they get the flash from Dia, they just need to turn around. Like, here we go. Paulette doesn't actually really get involved. He gets this good bubble in, but that's his contribution sort of solved. Once they get this flash, they should just leave. But they walk in towards that bush for no real reason. And now Vinvoice has them pinch it in. DNK is a bit too slippery, and B has no mana to actually do anything. DNK just living with a sliver of health there, getting that Triumph proc. But if anything, keeping him on the edge. It could have been a little bit more from Team Wales if some things had just gone a little bit better, but in the end, that's an angle for SBTC to get right back into this. Here might be another.
Queen, very deep, but has the very powerful Nagia. They're going to move forward. The axes come out. Olaf bearing forward, going low, but they will pick up the first kill. But look at the collapse coming in. TNK will be the next one to go down. This is an unstoppable Viking. Onto the tower goes Tier 1. That will hold him up. Lovely bubble from Paulette as well. That is a 2-for-1 in the favor of Team Wales.
Yeah, Nagia's pretty good.
He's a big lad. He is a big lad.
And all that also brought Paulette up to the top side, so now Vinvoice kind of has to just watch his tower take a boatload of damage from this duo. And this is just, the plate gold is bringing Team Wales ahead to a pretty significant lead, even though that fumble in the jungle has brought the kills back to even. It's just so much extra gold in CS and in plates that has gone to the side of Wales that they are still comfortable despite that.
Wave comes out, as does the culling. Vit's going to take a lot of damage. Flash forward from Vinboys will blow him up. B has no real counterplay to this if they want to keep it going. Can they find the last bit of damage? A cleanse from Vinboys dashing. Oh my god, that was a shocker of a Q. But he will go down regardless.
Yeah, now with Killer Queen able to clean up Paulette, quite possibly. There we go. Smite Q. That works out pretty well. Vinboys played that out extremely fine, but played that out actually fantastically. But Kill Queen in the right position means that it's an even trade overall, and even they can't quite get things to land properly. He's even going to crash that wave into the tower, so Vinboy's going to lose a little bit more CS on top of it. And we're seeing big leads break out in pretty much every lane. There's 10, about 20 in mid, actually, and then 20 in every lane. This is kind of just dominance from the side of Team Wales in the individual laning. This is huge. Yeah,
it absolutely is. This has been an action-packed game. We have 16 kills at 11 minutes. Oh,
That was
Paulette, a lucky ward. Which one are we looking at? An
The
item?
Triforce.
That's a Triforce. Yeah.
That's not the Stridebreaker, which is a bit more typical, gives you a little bit more chase down potential, a bit more staying power, and maybe more team fight utility, perhaps, but that doesn't seem to matter. He's just gonna try and run down SBTC.
Look at the damage! Can't get hit by Lux Qs. If you get hit by a Lux Q, it's a death sentence. That's going to call a teleport out of Dia 1 as well, just to stop them losing a second tower. In goes the wave. Lovely Lux Q stopping any follow-up, though, as Dia 1 is unable to enter the fight. With Glory coming into the side, goes all out as well. Dashing on in, he's tanking the tower.
Okay,
he will trade 1-for-1, be very low. In goes the ace in the hole. The Q lands, but no follow-up available.
Okay. Glory looks a little bit unpracticed in some ways. On this Sunday, the thing is, his little main interactions, like he's using the W extremely well. We saw him block the barrel, etc., in the mid lane, but his all-out choices have been very suspect. That's for sure. He kind of just gives a kill over there for free. It does trade it back overall, but it was one play regardless of that. So. Now,
Nagir's coming. Look at him go.
Can he
land
land
I don't know
the
if
axe?
he can actually catch. No, the axe misses, which means Emperor should get away. No, the follow-up lands, and he immediately pulls the trigger. It's Ragnarok, baby. Emperor has no counterplay. That is what we call a counter pick.
Yeah, turns out axe is better than scissor. So throw that one into your next game. Maybe
Vim boys, do you want this? Yeah, he does
keep him
want
at
it.
arm's length with the culling. And
he needs to get under the tower. He cannot.
No, doesn't want to risk it. Which, fair enough, I suppose. But this means another committal. Another Lux Q.
Lot of damage, and Vit gets himself a third kill so far. This has just been a bit of a masterclass of Lux by B.
Yeah, and just keeping Killer Queen alongside this Lux adds that extra layer of CC, means that it's guaranteed, pretty much turns into a guaranteed kill from what would otherwise mostly just be a pretty significant chunk of damage and a recall. That the extra release damage, extra release CC guarantees the kills every time, and it's given such a strong lead to Team Wales. They've only knocked down one tower, but they've cracked so many plates on the other two that they picked up almost 2,000 gold out of these towers, compared to just a couple of plates from the side of SBTC. And this, as I said, I don't really feel there's a lot of angles for SBTC to get back into it. Sure, you can make plays in the mid game with the Lucian Nami. Don't love the I've been set behind super far, but I'm going to waste 1,100 gold on a Dirk move once again. And Emperor, he's kind of your late game hope. He's 0-4 because he got absolutely counterpicked.
I mean, the issue is that he doesn't even really turn into a late game hope. Like this matchup doesn't get better.
He should. in theory, once he's got enough items under him, he can sort of outdo what Nagir does, outbursts at the sustain.
Another Q from B.
Yeah. One
Just
into
another kill. This is looking. This looks over.
Yeah, it's pretty close to. Like, it's 15 minutes into the game. There's still, and of course there's still a chance. It's the VCS. Nothing is ever over till it's over. Realistically, but this is absolute dominance. This should be game one. Just given off the drafts from this point onwards, it would take a massive mistake from Team Wales, and even then, as we saw, the big sort of invade into over red buff and the free feeding of 3 kills didn't actually affect the gold at all. We see there, it's pretty dominant in the top red for the side of Team Wales. Only really Glory lagging behind anybody, and he's fine. He's Cassante. He can do that.
Yeah, exactly. He can chill out as teams just sort of chilling out for the moment. There is a dragon spawning in about 10 seconds that Team Wales will want to move over.
And just drop this Rift Herald in the mid lane, pick up that free pressure, free tower, given how low it is, and That should be an easy rotation into the tower, and then you have to wonder what the soul is going to be. Okay, still potential for a good kick.
Oh, big kick comes in. They get on top of Vit, but he's able to just walk out of this one. Teleport from Enpa into the backside, but they're just going to turn around and try and break that. Nagia is so threatening. Yep, they move in, but now it's Nagia time as he moves forward, carving up Dia1, serves him on a platter. Moves forward, can't get anyone else. But what? Killer Queen survives. And it's really important that Killer Queen survives because, of course, he is the smite. DNK on the run. Glory boxing him out.
Yeah, he might as well not have survived, but given he has to reset from that immediately. But Nagira just able to solo push down this mid lane. And even though that was an absolutely fantastic angle coming in from DNK, as Beat, you can't do this. I've tried this many times. Support Lux doesn't do anything to Dragon. And like, this is such a good angle from DNK. Actually beautiful, but they just can't actually put the damage in to follow it up. Because Killer Queen runs such good interference onto Paulette, they panic and try and fend off the spider, which buys a lot of space. Unfortunately, Vit separates himself from the team enough that DL1 finds an angle to jump on top. However, there's a lot of damage coming in from the side of Nagia to make sure it's a 1-for-1 trade in there, and with the scatter, Team Wales gets to have map control that nets them a tower, nets them a dragon, and pretty much confirms that even in that sort of fight, they still come out on top.
That they do. They are just that far ahead. Nagia 5-1 picks up a more of Malmortius as well. As I said, this doesn't get better for Gwen. We did see a dash forward right as we cut away, but it's okay. Nothing happened.
But this could have been something even better. But Vit decided he didn't want to build damage today, going for that rapid fire cannon when he really doesn't need it. He could have just built an Infinity Edge, built a BF sword, and hit towers. It's not like there's a long range composition from SBTC that you're that concerned of. Sure, they have a barrel and stuff to engage, but without the flash on DNK and DO1, you're pretty safe. And we even saw that if you get knocked in, they aren't ahead enough. They aren't far enough along to blow you up instantly. Okay. What are we doing?
An attempt, but doesn't go anywhere. Team Wales is able to just back off into the river. SE doesn't want to chase them. I think that was a very good decision because I think they would have been absolutely cleaned up. Baron is spawning in 30 seconds. Of course, no team not going to move towards them too soon. We just need to see some side laning going on as there is still this outer top lane tower, and I think Nagia takes that personally.
Yeah, there's still a lot of gold left for Team Wales to take. They could definitely just try and move the Caitlyn around to knock those down as well, but they're just trying to make sure that they have full river control. They're not trying to push up too much and claim any other objective because Baron is pretty damn close to spawning, and that's where they want to be right now. They might just start it up very quickly. They don't quite know where DNK is. They know where Dia is, but
they'll just get mission control. They're just trying to set up onto the tower.
Oh, now they know where DNK is.
Yeah, no, they're just going to zone DNK and Paulette back while Vit hits the tower. There they go, tower's down, and then they can leave this area.
Yeah, this means SPTC also can't really be as aggressive into that top side, into that blue side quadrant, which does mean Team Wales can walk in, get a bit better vision without a fear of a collapse or even an aggress onto SBTC that they know are there, because SBTC doesn't have a tower to run and hide to, and that's going to be the case. They're going to walk in, clear out some vision, and Death Brush.
Oh, that was lovely stuff out of B, but the wave will save the jungler's life, so good reaction from Paulette as well. Big engage tool now missing for a little bit out of the Nami though, but it should be up before any objective is realistically considered, unless they're just going to hit Baron.
Yeah, looks like that's going to be the case. They got a big ultimate out that the main one they have to really concern themselves with in terms of trapping them in
5k, this is just going to go down.
Yeah.
This is melting.
This is Q, he can't get in.
Oh, he does get in, but can't steal it away. Is secured by Killer Queen, and now the fight is on. DNK over the wall. Dia1 in the front line, taking a lot of damage. Enpa doing what he can with no mana and with a Nagia to contend with. Team Wales just wants to back off. They have low health bars. They don't need to fight. They already got the Baron. And okay. Vit turns it around. It goes low. It doesn't go down. No, never mind. DNK will finish him off. And now they can charge forward. Shutdown's coming in. They're all wiping out. 4 of them are dead. It's only B left alive. And the Baron folly leads to an ace.
Okay. And their waves are in great position to just clean up a couple of objective bounties. On top of that, this turns the whole game on its head. SBTC are going to be right back to even in the gold part department, maybe even a little bit further. Maybe being able to claw back a gold lead. Let's see how big these bounties actually are. Shouldn't be too much, but Killer Queen and Glory, they ended up taking so much damage. Nagia's on half health, and they needed to leave so much earlier, but they got baited in by this pick onto Enpa. Vit actually Gale forces in to find the kill, and that just sets him up to be taken down to nothing. Once that Caitlyn is gone, Vinboys has all the space to walk in and clean up the rest. B just doesn't have enough in the tank to kill Dia, has no mana, and that's just a huge fumble. Now we're on to...
Now Killer Queen caught. He screwed the flash as well. Goes gold, gets knocked up. He'll get taken down, and there's a dragon on the map, and Team Wales doesn't have a jungler. Nagia wants to turn it around. Now it's no jungler for either team. Tier 1, next target. Vinboy's already going low. Tier 1 getting absolutely shredded by the Viking. Glory in position, trying to CC him. Tier 1 still alive. Vinboy's buying space. Glory goes all out, goes over the wall, but will trade with his own life. Debatably worth it. Nagia still here. Nagia still strong, but needs to find access onto Vinboys. Will bring down the axe once. In goes the ace in the hole. Blocked easily by Paulette. Enpa held up for now, taking a lot of damage. Dragon still on the map. Health bar lead for Team Wales for now.
Yeah, the health bar lead, unfortunately, is kind of mostly on B, so it's really up to him to find that binding, and mostly just like Vit has done something.
He certainly has. He's taken Enpa very low. The snipe doesn't quite land from B, but I think they can't walk through this. This will be the 3rd dragon secured for Team Wales. They move up to Infernal Soul Point.
Yeah, it's giving me a goddamn heart attack. He's walking into that brush for no reason. But it's a huge backhand play from the side of Team Wales to actually make sure DNK falls down. And now Enpa's got his snatched his tooth, actually. That's a slightly interesting choice. We don't normally see that. But yeah, Killer Queen kind of floods it. He flashes at completely the wrong angle. Doesn't get much distance. Doesn't go towards to try and get over the wall. DNK tries his best, but with Nagia in the angle, they can't do anything about it. And with DNK dead, that's really all they needed. But Glory just sees blood in the eyes, gets a kill onto DNK, but onto Dia1, sorry. But without those resistances, can't progress any further. And Bit of a back and forth. Nobody else goes down, but the position on Dragon left Team Wales ahead once again. Just finding these little steps in the smaller skirmishes, but still could fumble it like they have done a couple times so far. Oh, Vinboys.
Yeah, using the culling, just eyeing space. Ooh, Killer Queen. Just managing to dodge away from that engage. Another Q comes out, dodged away. Ace in the hole does actually land onto Vinboys. Not a huge amount of damage, but nonetheless, poke onto the enemy AD carry, always valuable. There's no objectives on the map at the moment, though. So both teams sort of just posturing while Enpa is actually having a go in the bot lane. But let's look at this as Dia1 getting run down, but Nagia can't find the kill in time as Killer Queen actually stopped the teleport. That's really important. I think Gwen arriving there would have been a bit of a disaster. Killer Queen went low to do it, but does survive. On the other side, Wave going in, lands onto Vit, holds him up. DNK can't quite find the angle as he manages to reposition. B goes down, but traded for DNK. You'll take that every day of the week, Marby. And moving forward, Glory gets the knock up onto Dia1, doing Cassante things. But Dia1 belly bops out of there, and he's okay.
Yeah, Paulette is keeping this really close with clutch bubbles, just stopping Glory whenever he approaches. The just small things, that could have been so much more than it was, but in the end it was a 1-for-1 overall. But SBTC are feeling confident, especially Vinboys. He has been playing extremely well, just dancing around the edge of a lot of this damage, a lot of this CC. If any of that lands, it would have just been a complete toss-up that Wales would have won. Okay,
Vinboys
that's the problem.
gets engaged on by Glory, but can't find the final damage. He will get away. The ace in the hole lands onto Paulette.
Yeah, that's Flash for Flash. That's definitely not bad for Glory. He's able to force that one out of Vinboys, and that'll make him a lot more vulnerable in future situations. Now Vit has that Infinity Edge, but it is matched by Vinboys. These ADCs are pretty much even. It's actually Vinboys who's ahead with that Dirk in inventory. It pretty much feels, but that's not gonna amount. It shouldn't amount to too much. This is just nail-biting fights. Looking to see where they can go next. They're waiting for an objective. Baron is up soonish. Team Wales looking to take control of that area. Try not to make the same mistake as last time. This time, they should be able to burn it down a lot quicker and not take as much damage. So, gonna see them tear through it. That is a quick Baron.
Yeah, but DNK is going to be in range. And you know what, Lisa? Oh, he didn't land the Q.
Okay, he missed that one.
Yeah, and that is going to be Baron secured. The barrel comes in to section them apart. Team Wales need to find a way out. No, they're just going to pull the trigger, move forward. And why not when Nagia is just so damn huge? Takes down one, moves forward onto end, but can't quite do it. Gwen will get that kill back, but he's in so much trouble. He's getting bared down on by the rest of the team, taken down by the Spider. In the meantime, Vinboys has been cleaned up by Vit, and this time, Baron will work out with the Baron buff secured and a 3-for-1 in favor of Team Wales. DNK sectioned off as well. They can't even get back to their base, as B is just taunting them. Have fun recalling. We're going to take you in him. We're going to take the lead.
Yeah, that's just going to be it. They're going to crack on the inhib because they're not actually going to end the game. They don't feel
they're going to reset
do
the
that.
soul. No, reset the soul every time.
10 seconds left on the spawn timers makes a lot of sense. And yeah, going to reset for the soul. I mean, I think they could have gone for it, but they decide not to, which is fair, 100%. DNK actually going to try and find a bit of a push in this top wave. Maybe try and force someone to respond. Because if Nagia goes up to respond, he doesn't have teleport, and that means SBTC could commit everyone down there. Emperor and DR1 can join in very quickly. They have a teleport ward, but again,
this is Soul.
DNK's on the top side, so never mind. Actually,
this is. They've made the decision to give this up. It's clearly, I don't know if I agree with that decision, but it was clearly intentional. Enpa could be in some trouble as the collapse is coming in, trying to use that ultimate to get space. Will work out. Mid tower has been taken for SE as well. That does open up the map for them quite a lot, but you're now facing down Nagia, who is 7, 3, and 5, 3.5 item Olaf with an Infernal Soul.
Yeah, it's a trade of sides of the map. They push up mid lane, try and get some gold back for themselves, but they've given up the space on the bot side. So this tower should fall. Enpers doesn't have enough wave clear on his own to defend against this siege. That'll be this mid lane tower, or just blocking the entire culling means that they get to knock on the second inhibitor. Look for DNK. Look for a potential angle, maybe for Dia. That's what SBTC are gonna look for. But
they need a miracle. As so far, it's just more pushing. Team Wales not actually backing off. They want to try and find a fight to end the game. There's a knock-in onto Tier 1, taking a fair bit of damage, but it splits apart the team. Glory going in. DNK. Oh, that's not how you want to do that kick, mate. It's not worked out. He goes down for nothing. Laser whips across the team. Nagia is just running them down like an absolute freight train. Needs to find his way back out. He moves back in, over onto the Lucian. Can't quite get it. Vinboys will fend Nagia off for now, but it doesn't matter, because it's still a numbers advantage for the Wales. A good knockback there by Glory onto DR1. Take him down. It is Vinboys and Enpa versus the world as they desperately try and hold on to their base. Down goes a tower. Down goes a Vinboys. And it's only Enpa left. I don't think it matters though, Marby, as they can just fend him off and hit the Nexus. He will pick up kills, but it doesn't matter because he gets locked up and Team Wales goes up 1-0.
Enpa tried his goddamn hardest at the end. He bought a ton of space, found a lot of kills on the backside, but just couldn't cut through fast enough. And that was it should have been dominant, but they made pretty significant throws from Wales, so it wasn't dominant, but like it was good. It was good. It was kind of good signs from both teams, and just a bit of questionable decision making, and I think that might come down to a little bit of cockiness in some regards, and in other places, mainly that really big dip, just not setting things up properly, and kind of it has to be sort of overvaluing yourself, because they went and took that Baron, took so much damage whilst doing it, and then couldn't escape. So kind of a big one.
Yeah, but with that, we will be going to a short little break before game 2 of our tiebreak here. Remember, the prize for this one is that you definitely dodge Garm, and that is quite the prize to come second here in the VCS. So we'll be back in just about 5 minutes. Don't go anywhere. This is VCS English.
Hear the call for on the chosen ones, far away but all like one. Come together, we've just begun. Chant till Valhalla comes, chanting till Valhalla comes.
It's time, run wide and royally cavalier to burn, ignite. I do it for so much less when all is made clear. There is nothing else, and here we stand, the sweet, arresting duality, and I come to, it's resin all over me. Will I awake? Will I get it right with you in this race of two? We're an endless stream of choices with the softest murmur of voices. Without names we're fantasizing, dancing like flames, mesmerizing. A dark disquiet play and satiric harmonies, making waves and diving under, lightning to the sound of thunder. A dark disquiet singing such haunting melodies. So white, so still, so bright. It's almost too painful now. I'm ready to fight, to run from the light. And here now comes the sweet, corrupting reality. While now I'm free, will I once cease to be? Will I awake? Will I get it right with you in this race of two? We are momentary masters. We're false kings and bastards. Without names we're fantasizing, dancing like flames, mesmerizing. A dark disquiet playing such eerie harmonies. I'm making waves and diving under, lightning to the sound of thunder. A dark disquiet singing such haunting melodies. We are marionettes by strings animated, yet like lovers of strings liberated. We are marionettes by strings animated, yet like lovers of strings liberated. Without names we're fantasizing. Without names we're fantasizing, dancing like flames, mesmerizing. My dark disquiet playing such eerie harmonies, making waves and diving under, lightning to the sound of thunder. My dark disquiet singing such haunting melodies. Brothers but not separated, marionettes animated, lovers of strings liberated. Brothers but not separated, marionettes animated, lovers of strings
Welcome back, everybody, for game 2 of our tiebreaker for second place. Team Wales took a dominant but up and down route, I think is the way to put it, to success in game one. They definitely made all of the decisions. Some of them were just bad decisions.
Yeah.
Once again, my name is Carrick, and with me is Marvinogi. Want to set us up for game two?
Yeah, I sort of consider that a nice controlling game, a controlled game. It was very controlled by Team Wales, but they didn't always win the situations. But when it comes to game two, I'm expecting a couple things. First of all, Slater, because Slater has been statistically one of our best AD carries. He's been, to the eye test, one of the best AD carries in the split. And they're just, SBTC, when they're looking really good, it's usually because of Slater. Like, Slater is very consistent, very strong, and was a big part of their victory over Team Wales in their last matchup. So I expect to see him, and then I expect to see a wildly different draft. One that's a bit more normal, a bit more standard, one that doesn't have Illusion Nami in it, that's sort of expected to pop off immediately, and especially picking that into a Caitlyn Lux just seems like a bit of a weird decision for me, especially when you don't bring Lee Sin down to try and counteract it. So
yeah, I think one thing I do want to put out there is I think a lot of people will say, "Oh, Vinboys was an issue. Why is Vinboys playing?" And I mean, it's a valid question. Don't get me wrong. Why is Vinboys playing? But he wasn't the issue. Like, fundamentally, he played fine. He actually had some really good plays. I don't think Slater would have fixed anything. So yeah, I don't. I can already see people saying, "Oh, Vinboys was an issue." He really wasn't.
no,
it was mostly that. Yeah, they just they just got rolled by the Olaf counter pick.
Yeah,
that probably won't happen this time because it should be Wales on blue side.
Yeah, they got baited extremely hard by the Cassante lock. They tried to run Gwen into it, which is your standard counter pick. This time around, we are going to hit the Rift and see some more stand bans. Slater is in, and thus the response is to just drop the Zeri ban and the Xayah ban immediately. Xayah ban's a bit of a weird one because you could have first picked that before Vit, but on the other side, Killer Queen being heavily targeted, that is a lot of junglers taken away, and maybe that's sort of trying to say, you are first picking Viego. We know you are. Do it. But it's going to be Sejuani instead, which is still a jungler, but it's not Viego. So
it is interesting.
Bit different.
It is interesting, just given who Killer Queen is as a player. I would have expected the Viego. They go the safer option in the Sejuani, just picking up the tank. Does potentially let DNK get the Viego. There's Maokai being hovered as well. Haven't seen a lot of the tree.
Yes. The tree's gone through a lot of changes, and no one's quite settled on what you're meant to do with him anymore. Because you can't just build AP and put nukes everywhere. You can build them semi-AP with the Imperial Mandate, but I've not been a huge fan of it. I think just outright tank has been the best option, but I'm gonna lock out Tristana early, so that's most likely a deal 1 pick, but we've seen Palette play the Rel as well so far this split, so the kill lane is always a potential, depending on what Wales wants to put in right now. I'd imagine a mid laner or a spot lane of some kind. Varus left open, actually. This is something we don't often see. Does B pair it with Ashe and go for double Archer?
Yeah,
No, it's a mid laner.
Yeah, I mean, picking up a mid laner makes sense. That may also be them reading that it's actually Tristana mid. That's obviously a tier 1 classic. Glory has always been a pretty mean Yone as well. So far, a very, very strong engage comp putting itself together from Wales. Sort of being answered with more engage from SBTC. So we've got fireworks brewing on the Rift.
Okay, yeah, this is gonna come in pretty fish on from the side of Enpa with this cannon. Have to see the bans come through. Yep, immediate Malphite ban makes a lot of sense. That is the go-to counter pick. I'm trying to figure out what else would come on through. Maybe maybe the J span as well to try and sort of balance it out. It's something that can knock, maybe knock or pull the cannon out of the fight so that Slicing Maelstrom isn't as effective. Maybe that Cassante hits the bench as well. Just lots of choices for them to go to, but on the other side, it's going to be Palette targeted by Wales, maybe trying to force a bit more of an unusual bot lane coming out as the Donovan. That's okay. Interesting one.
And very interesting one. I'm not sure what that really reps.
Yeah,
As it is just bot lane bans coming in, which obviously makes a lot of sense. That Tristana could still go bot, for the record. Also worth commenting, it is Slater back in. As much as I still don't think Vinboys was a problem in game 1. Slater is the safer pair of hands. I definitely agree with that.
Yeah, Slater's just might bring a bit more of a bit more of a shot calling, bit more composure to the team dynamic. As it's going to be Jinx locked in. That means now it's going to be Slater who's the safe pair of hands in the late game that SBTC wants to work around and rely on. But it does put a big target on the back of trying to kill the Jinx. How does Team Wales want to play this out? Silas lock-in would be pretty interesting because you could flex that upside a number of ways. And
this is
Kalista support?
This is interesting, Marvy. We've got a lot of things going on here from the Wales.
Yeah, team.
Let's see if this gets locked in before we talk too much.
Thresh personally as a takeaway, but Ash
Okay.
works.
Okay. I mean, Ash makes sense. It is going to be the Ash locked in. Your cat sounds like they're having a good time, but interesting stuff for sure. Interesting where the Silas and the Yone end up. Obviously, it will be the solo lanes. But which one is which? Nautilus, the thought from SBTC as well. So not actually going to go for the safety of the Thresh, but it does make sense. Need a little bit of engage in that bot lane to try and get onto the double archers.
So here's my wacky proposal. You actually make B play the Varus. Because with the changes, Ash's the sport has kind of been muted, but Ash is an AD carry, gotten a lot better, can do a lot of damage with the Ranger's focus, and Varus support technically untouched. So
yeah, I don't know if Varus
through.
support was ever good though.
I mean, just nobody wanted to play it, didn't it? I mean,
Sure.
Carrier played it.
I mean, okay, Carrier has played a lot of things, and Carrier is allowed to play a lot of things. Carrier is not in the VCS. let's just be completely clear here.
I also propose to you they are one up in a probably ultimately meaningless tiebreaker game on the grounds that there is a juicy Cerberus for a gun to pick, but
It's interesting because, look, we can think tactically and say, yeah, Cerberus is clearly the fourth best team. If you're Garm, you always pick Cerberus because they're the easier target. But it is the potential picking of SBTC. And Garm don't like SBTC.
yeah, it's gonna be very interesting to see how that actually does play out. But we're gonna go into this game. Ash support definitely took a lot of knocks, but it's still actually pretty playable. It's still at a reasonable win rate in like solo queue and such. So
Uh-oh,
it's
here we go!
Oh,
It's a level 1 brawl, baby! It starts off with a hook. Killer Queen's getting absolutely owned. Here we go! We love the VCS's glory. Goes down, first blood, give it over to Tier 1. Moving forward is Slater with that speed boost. Doesn't quite find anything else. And we love getting off to a high-octane start.
Okay, how do we get this much action immediately? All right, okay, so early level 1 is definitely an SPTC favor because they have, I don't know, I guess that buster shot is doing a lot of damage. The hook the slow field. It's the damage reduction of the Glacial Augment that pretty much wins this out for SBTC. Plus the AoE damage of that bomb from Tristana. It's pretty big. It's pretty massive, and it does a lot of damage. I didn't actually quite see who the kill went on to and who died.
It was on day one. It was on day one.
Okay, that's gonna be a little spicy.
And it was Glory that died.
Double unlucky. As Emperor's decided, I'm not doing damage this game. He's gone Grasp. He's decided he's going to build. He's gonna do the build.
Having to use his flash. Slater now getting borne down on, but I don't think they can really continue this fight. Paulette able to step up, barrier coming out, Vit's going low, over the wall goes Slater, but Paulette wants him, lands the hook, brings down the anchor and sends him to the depths, Marby.
Yep, you just don't do enough damage if Paulette has the brush control, and he has. He's got the full control, and this lane is done. This game might be done. I mean, it's a pretty significant advantage. There's a lot of late game potential from the solo laners, of course, but it's gonna be pretty hard to get there, I feel. There's a free call that came on out from DO1. Nagia has to wait till he's probably about 6 before he can actually start doing the real punish onto Emperor, because right now he's just gonna get bullied and beaten around, and it's not looking good for Team Wales. Either Killer Queen has to find a fantastic angle, but without a flash that becomes extremely hard. Or this is just gonna be a pretty comfortable snowball from the side of SBTC. This draft has just been accelerated extremely fast. Okay, Emperor takes a turret shot though.
Yep. Yeah, Nagia is able to absorb this pressure. He's going to get shoved in by Emperor just because of the range advantage, but he is unlikely to die. He's going to move forward as well. This is something he can do.
Oh!
No, Nagia, the tragedy!
The flash from Emperor means that he dives the complete wrong way. It's flash for flash, and okay, this is gonna be a bit of a rough one. Nagia can actually farm okay, make sure he picks up the cannon and such, but man, this is a knife's edge. He's gonna get the bounce, get the reset, and be able to teleport safely. So the wave state might come out okay for Nagia in the longer term, but yeah, that was close. Okay,
going under tower. No, Glory is alive. He's fine.
He should have been dead.
No, he played that really well.
Yeah, I thought with the bomb on him, the snapback wouldn't have been enough, but it's fine. Okay, he's fine apparently. Unfortunately, we didn't get a kill, so we don't actually see how that fully played out. As he's gonna find a nice teleport into towers, so that's gonna help him out a little bit.
Killer Queen.
Now Killer Queen. Now he can maybe find an angle.
Certainly can. As we have to go look at the bot lane though, because Paulette, once again, he's hungry and Vit's dead.
Yeah, Vit's just eating hooks left and right.
Hang on a minute, we'll have to come back as Nagia. Where's the E? That's what we're waiting for. A little bit of slow onto Enpa, as now it's turning into a bad situation for the Whales, as they're outnumbered, they're outgunned, and Killer Queen goes down. That's a shocker.
Nah, game's over. Game's just over. Bot lane is getting completely crushed. The mid lane priority is just simply too much. Glory cannot leave the lane to help out Dia just as first priority, and now Killer Queen's just been set behind. They're gonna have no control over this map. They have to just play pretty much as safely as possible, try and scrounge for gold and wait for SBTC to make mistakes that they can capitalize on, which is never the situation you want to be in. And also Emperor picked up that kill and found a red buff, so now Nagia is in living hell.
He's having a very, very bad time. But this has been just a shocking start to the game by Team Wales.
Yep.
It's gone about as poorly as possible.
Yeah, they picked the double marksman bot lane, but the Nautilus has just been so effective and now has those plated steel caps immediately. He just walks in, stands in front, and with that range advantage from Slater, they can't do anything. They'll just win every 2v2 if the hook.
Nagia is in trouble. Whips out the slicing maelstrom, but it's not as big as the real one. The Sejuani coming in. It's a 2-for-1 in favor of the Whales. Oh my god, the game never stops, Marty.
All right, King. Y'all forgot about Kingslayer. That came in clutch there, keeping the gear alive long enough for Killer Queen's impact to actually land. It gets a kill back for himself as well. And okay.
Good sidestep by Vit, but it doesn't matter because Spider-Naut comes in. He is going to die to Dia 1, and this is a brutal game for the Varus.
Yeah, and it's been Vit every time, which just means that it's doubled down and become even worse because B's not really going to collect the farm. B's not going to be able to get ahead on the alternative. At this point, maybe do you just say, okay, B, sell your thing, you're farming all the time, but now he's just going to die.
Yeah,
what can he do?
Yeah, he's going down. Oh. Tries to take a kill on the way out, very nearly gets Dia 1, but not quite. Yeah, B had no option there.
Yeah, he does that about as well as he could, but he doesn't have any damage. He's got a fairy charm. That's it. There's no real hope for him to work through that. That's going to be easy bot lane control, which means a free dragon. Rift Herald is still yet to spawn, so despite Team Wales kind of getting a little bit back on the top side, they can't control it yet, and Glory still just unable to impact the map because Yone cannot push fast enough against this Tristana. Hasn't been able to look for the kill threat either because simply too far behind. Now B's getting there. B's gonna maybe try his best to try and steal some more experience to get to level 6, but he is so far down. He is level 4. I'm surprised he is level 4. He's been out of lane, apparently been out of lane a lot, but it means that he's not going to provide a goddamn thing to a Herald fight, and they probably just have to give it up.
Maybe, as Killer Queen is actually fairly strong. As DNK throws out the ult, lovely Sejuani ult to try and hold up the play. I don't think it's going to do enough, though, as Dia 1 is just too fed. 4-0 now on this Tristana. On the other side, Glory just has to ult away from Paulette, who is also having a blinder of a game.
Yeah, this is a draft, and it's just dead. It's just gone. You can't do anything. You can't do anything on your own. You are purely at the mercy of SBTC messing up with your whales, and well, Glory's going to try and clear this wave, but Dia 1 can just sort of walk up, drop a bomb, and pick up some more tower plates for free.
He can, or he can just choose to harass Glory instead. Can't even blame him. There is a stolen Maokai ult for Nagia, but I don't think they're going to be able to put it to any real use around this Herald. They're just too far behind. As, yeah, Team Wales isn't even bringing their bot lane up. They know that this is going over to SBTC. They don't throw any good money after bad, which is always nice to see. Okay. How to think about it. But Glory got out of there.
Just the Hex Flash, just working around. And yeah, we see like Fit doesn't even want to try and push up into Slater. Like try and push the wave, maybe trying to look for some tower damage. He just tried to hold the wave in a freeze as best he could in the bot lane, and that ultimate was about to expire, so he's going to drop that on top of Emperor's head. No, not much to come from it, but we're just, once again, just waiting, hoping that the dragons roll poorly. It's an Ocean Dragon now. If it's a Chemtech Soul, Team Wales is extremely thankful, because that is not one that wins the game for SBTC. But just that's all they have right now. Hope SBTC and DO1 make a mistake. Just hope something goes right for you in the long run. Hope you can get to these items.
Frankly, Glory could be in some trouble, but he's okay. Frankly, as far behind as they are, they do still have a very, very good teamfight composition. They still have a very, very strong all-in. So I don't think they're completely out of it. They are massively behind the 8-ball. But any mistake from SE can still be punished very easily by the Wales.
Yeah, unfortunately, it's sort of like you don't actually get to play with the bot lane this game. I feel like this lethality virus is just not going to be all that effective.
Oh, okay. Good cleanse.
Gets a cleanse out.
Good trade.
Only now does B hit 6, so they couldn't follow up on it. It does mean they can maybe go for round 2 as
Nagia having a crack up on the top side, but the lightning rush from Enpo will get him to safety.
Yeah, we're hitting a point where top lane is actually starting to tip back towards the Silas, which is good news, but it's still not. I don't really see it being a full. It's not really coming into a full win condition just yet. And SBTC's
It's very,
fight
very
is
far
also
away from that.
fantastic. Just built the Rod of Ages, just ticked up 1 minute, and no mid lane tower means full map control does or should belong to SBTC. And he can play aggressive all he wants, but there's a DR1 room coming through.
Yeah, he is going to be in some trouble once that DR1 lands. Yeah, Vit is going to die. There's no counterplay. They're calling a TP.
Why?
I guess that's just to hold the tower on the top side. It was that DR1 roam taking down Nagia. Disastrous stuff here as SE pulls even further ahead. They're 6k gold up at 12 minutes.
Yeah, they're the ones making all the shots. They have full decision priority. They get to do everything they want. Glory is still just so far behind. He's sitting on a Vamp Scepter and nothing else. Nagia rather does his best and does a lot of damage, but you can't win the 2v1. Okay, but Killer Queen can. I'm not sure how he did that, but Dia's dead. How is Dia dead?
I think he just stuck around for the farm and just got hit by a Sejuani ult, I guess. Yep.
Yeah, okay.
The Sedge ult and flash.
Oh, that's real. That's actually
That's
really
a big
nice.
shutdown.
Landing that permafrost first with the flash before the knockback, and even though the Buster Shot came through, still had the ultimate to keep them locked in place so you could walk back up and deliver the finishing blow. Very, very well played.
Yeah, it was good stuff there out of Killer Queen. He's actually still in a pretty good position, particularly with that massive shutdown he just picked up. Unfortunately, though, he's playing a tank. And
he's building a Warmox Rush against double 80 carry. What are you doing, man?
Yeah, it's definitely a decision, unfortunately.
I hate Vietnamese players, but learn how to adapt a build once in your goddamn lives. Anyway, Killer Queen is in the middle of nowhere.
He is, but he has managed to scramble himself to a nice hiding place, so he will be able to back off. As Team Wales has managed to slow the game a little bit for now. There is obviously no objective, so SE struggling to find anything to fight around. Oh, Nagia could be in some trouble. Paulette could have pulled the trigger with that depth charge, but decided not to. And the Silas will just slink back away.
It shouldn't have amounted to too much with that Buster Shot in hand. You probably can't follow up on it unless you time your hook extremely well, but gives the Tristana alone time with the tower. But okay, if that had hit, that might have been a good kill, but isn't able to. Okay.
Yeah, he gets away. Good timing there by Killer Queen, saving his top laner.
Yeah, good flash from DR1 as well, but able to dodge out Killer Queen.
Oh no!
Oh. That's why you don't shop, folks. Don't shop. Let yourself get that dash away. That could have been a huge. It would have been a big pickup for Slater. Now, Nagia's going to teleport back in. The tower does survive, but
no, it doesn't.
Well, it survives a little bit longer, but yeah, it survives long enough for him to complete his teleport. Is more what I'm getting at, but sure was a choice.
It was.
He's only got a Rod of Ages. He doesn't have real damage yet, so he can't do anything. Okay.
And engage on the bot side. Enpa using that ult. B trying to slow him down as much as possible. They know that he actually can't do this, as he just kind of walks away.
Yeah, I mean, there's no damage on Glory yet. There's no damage on B pretty much ever going to be there. So you can't kill the Heartsteel Enpa unless you bring Vit. Unless you bring the one who has actual damage at this point in time. But this time, SBTC are just going to overload this top side of the map, and Nagia can't do anything. He doesn't have the wave clear. He doesn't have the ability to stop this push. It's a 1-for-2 tower trade overall. Sure, you get a kill up, but that's still so much more gold for SBTC.
Yeah, it absolutely is. It's not a good trade, but it might have still been the best one they could get, considering how far behind Team Wales was.
Oh, Glory just bought a lot of damage now.
He did. He's got that, he does now have that shield bow, so he'll be actually, mattering.
Yeah, he's got nearly 100% crit. Actually, he might just about have it with that second crit cloak. I'm not 100% sure how the math works for Yone anymore, since it's not just straight up doubled. But that is more crit. That is going to be a lot of extra damage for Glory, and it means that next time he looks for a play with that Fate Unsealed, should actually be a decent chunk of damage that someone like Slater or DO1 have to be scared of.
Colette trying to clear a ward. Glory will fend him off for now. Already snaps back to his pad. Looking at it, it's basically a one item disadvantage everywhere as the ult from Enper just to clear the wave, but he does go down, so that is a little bit more damage. Oh my god, are you getting robbed? As a little bit more gold will go over to Wales. Paulette fends off the play from Glory. Bit of a nothing there, but we have a big push in the bot side. Dia1 with a Rift Herald. This is a dead inner tower.
This might be a dead inhibitor tower. Actually, no, they're going to commit 3 to it, but it's going to be a charge nonetheless. And
No, that should be able to.
okay, no, they just abandoned the Rift Herald entirely, so
Which is fine.
it should be fine, but they're going to try and catch on to Killer Queen. Luckily, he's
Oh, and they
pretty
do
tanky.
it.
Oh, good lord.
Glory is dead. Paulette
Yeah.
once again landing a lovely hook. They'll get a tower as well, and SBTC is not taking game 1 lying down.
No, this is just an absolute dominance. From the level 1 kill, and okay, that's just going to be a jump away. Chains of Corruption missing, and this has been a complete collapse from the side of Team Wales. It's partially the draft is just not set up to fall behind, and it fell behind extremely early, extremely quickly. So they're now feeling the consequences of it. It's going to take a while for Nagia to actually be a threat because he's building an extremely tanky Silas, but it doesn't do enough burst damage to cut through these 80 carries. And Glory's still a while away, building a Zeal. Probably a Phantom Dancer going to come out, but a bit of a strange one. Definitely a bit more of an interesting pick. Okay, found Paulette.
Sorry about that. My PC had a little bit of a bad time there for a second, but I am back. If I'm audible. Nagia in some trouble, tries to find some space, will manage it, hold up DNK, Killer Queen dashing away, Dragon getting lower and lower. This would actually be a really big takeaway for Team Wales if Killer Queen can land this smite. I don't think they're going to let him though. He pulls DNK over the wall, but the blast cone is there. Killer Queen can't get back into the pit, and that will be a Dragon secured for SBTC.
Yeah, they've started off with a pick, but it was pretty much everything chunked into the Nautilus, just thrown at him to get that kill. And then, with nothing else between the Maelstrom and the Nature's Grasp, they just walk back at you, and you can't do anything. These 2 huge teamfight ultimates. You only get the one, and that was used to just pick off the Nautilus. It's just not good allocation of resources in the teamfight, but they kind of have to grasp at anything they can. Killer Queen's going to see his Gromp get taken away, but what can he do? Not a hell of a lot.
Nothing at all, indeed.
Now Baron's up. Maybe you can find an angle where the ults are still down from DNK and Enper to make something happen, but SBTC just doesn't have to go to Baron.
Yeah, the big problem is just the gap in the mid lane. It's 3 items to an item and a half. Like, there's just very few ways to actually play around how strong the man on your screen is, DO1. This Tristana mid, of course, something he absolutely dominated the league with just 2 years ago when he was on Garm, linking up with Levi, doing absolutely disgusting things with this pick.
Yeah, and it's not even necessarily Glory's fault. He couldn't check DO1 early because he got killed in the level 1 play. He couldn't try and try and match his pace at all, and so Dia just kind of got fed on the side lanes and through just turret take. But that's what Tristana does, and Glory's struggling to find anything. The only reason bot lane looks even remotely close in item disparity is because Vit's items are so much cheaper than Slater's, and Slater had to stop for boots as well along the way. So there's just still so much more effective gold on the side of Slater, but yeah, DL1 obscenely fed. You can't do a thing to him. Enper also building up a pretty decent front line right now. Going to do a decent amount of damage once that Demonic Embrace finally comes through. But I guess you can say Nagira has a full stack Rod of Ages now, so he might be doing a little bit more damage, but still not really enough. Still not really enough of anything. We need these big items to come on through if you're Team Wales.
Yeah, I mean, what we
make play.
If you're a Team Wales fan, you need to see a mistake from SBTC. Frankly, this game is unlosable if you play properly. You are just so far ahead. You have the range advantage of the double ADCs. This is unlosable if you play it perfectly. However, we do not live in a world where people play perfectly, so SBTC could absolutely still overreach. They could still make a mistake. But with them setting up around Baron, I don't think they'll take it while that Scuttle Crab vision spot is still there. But yeah, as I said, you are hoping for a mistake if you're a Team Wales fan.
Yeah, it just feels like they've set up beautifully to sort of counter what Team Wales wants to do as well. You're trying to dive into a Locked and a Radiant Virtue passive.
Well, they're having a crack. Paulette taking a lot. They're going in onto Slater. Nagia trying to make it happen, but it just gets the flash. Baron on 4,500 health. Glory enters the fight. Baron still low. Hasn't reset yet. A catch onto Enper, but it's turning into a catch on Nagia. He has to get out of there. And now the collapse from SE is coming in. Dia1 flexing his power. Glory desperately trying to make anything happen, but he just has to go back to his pad. Barely survives. Ulting to safety. Dodging a Jinx rocket. Somehow no one has died. This does stop the Baron, though, at least for now.
Yeah, it stops the Baron, but...
Oh, but here we go. Enper moving forward. Good flash from B, but Dia1 jumping forward. There's the kill.
Yeah, Dia1's going to keep chasing a little bit more, but that, as you say, it stops the Baron just for a little bit. Actually, it's not going to be enough.
They're getting straight back to Baron.
DNK is just full health again. After a little bit of time in the jungle, Killer Queen's just going to have to do a bit of a tricky one to try and find anything.
There's too many wards. Yeah, they'll just chase him out. Yep, too many wards. Nagia down, B still down. Killer Queen will soon be joining them. Will take a little while. He's very tanky. If he gives them the rope-a-dope for long enough, then maybe it actually does stop the Baron because they need to reset. Because he is going to take a long time to die.
Yeah, unfortunately, kind of don't know where to go.
He's going to die. He might try and go for an execute, honestly, but that's not going to happen. Now he will get caught.
Yeah.
He will get taken down. But with how long it took, there's now a dragon on the map, so it does actually stop the Baron. Instead, they'll go get a Cloud Soul.
Yeah, I think he might have been able to drag it out a little bit longer. Okay,
Oh, can they get the catch? Oh no, they don't even kill him! Mommy, they didn't kill him!
No,
It's a disaster! Just FF, just FF, just FF.
Yeah, just open mid. Open mid, there's no point.
FF.
He gets that one!
Yep, FF.
He gets that one, at least, but that's 4 dead across the map. Glory's just hanging out. This.
We're going to game 3.
What are we even gonna do? They tried to take a tower, they tried to do anything, but they just can't do anything, because they're scattered, they're not working as a unit. The Glory might be able to sneak this away if he's lucky, but this is just a pure oversight from SBTC that he can even get this. They could have... I guess because Slater was dead, they couldn't split it all off and just try and take them both at the same time. So, yay, Dragon. It's a Cloud Drake. It's Cloud Drake. It makes you run fast.
It does?
To the game 3.
Yep.
Run fast to game 3. It's
let's get this one going. Yep. I mean, look, let's be honest. The teams are having a little bit of fun. As we've kind of pointed out, Garm is picking Cerberus. This is not most important. I mean, it would be kind of wild. It'd be kind of wild if they didn't.
Alright, hold this.
As there is a catch onto Killer Queen. He's getting hooked in, taken down. Nagia trying to make something happen. They actually have a decent collapse.
No, it's not.
It's not that big because the items are just too big. If this game was even mildly close, we might have seen Team Wales just win it, but this game is not mildly close, Marmy. This game has a country mile between them, as SBTC will walk up and they should just be able to end the game.
Yeah, it looked pretty big, but unfortunately the combo kind of didn't actually catch the 80 carries, so it didn't matter. Game's over. Game 3. Hurry up, let's go. This was over from a very long time ago.
This was
Very long time ago.
a solid 15 or so minutes ago, but we are finally seeing the Nexus fall as, oh my god, B just died on his fountain.
Yeah.
Alright, well, that was a game. These teams are having... This is, I think the term popularized is happy game of some kind.
I think we're gonna leave the Ash in the bin pretty much now.
I would hope so.
It's not meant to be that bad, but that was pretty resoundingly bad. Actually, to be fair to Ash, it wasn't so much the fault of Ash. Like,
It wasn't.
Vit,
It really wasn't.
Vit just ate a lot of hooks and then because you're Ash, you can't do anything about it. But back to the red side, maybe this time you can make sure you get a safer bot lane in hand. But this Varus did not.
Marby, stop pretending to do analysis. That game was a shit show. Let's go to game 3. This is VCS English. We'll see you in like 5-10 minutes.
Okay.
Night, the world, it's mine. With nobody else out here, it's time, run wild and royally cavalier to burn
Welcome back, everybody, for Game 3 of our tiebreaker for second place. Team Wales taking on SBTC. Let's not talk about Game 2. We're just going to move straight on to Game 3. Didn't happen. It's just 1-1. It's 1-1 now. We're going on to Game 3. Marby, what do you want to see out of Wales?
Something a bit more standard that they tend to play a little bit more naturally. Like that Yone came out, kind of came out of nowhere. It's not really a glory pick. The Varus Ash bot lane is an old like 13.1 sort of thing with that update to the modern era. Man, I guess I don't know. It was fine, but like the bot lane itself isn't terrible, but it just fell apart in execution. Just lock in something that you're more comfortable with. I still don't know why they banned Visaya on blue. Nagia, the Silas was interesting. The Silas wasn't actually even bad at all, but
it was fine.
I don't know. Just comfort. Play comfort.
Yeah, I completely agree.
That's struggling.
Also, maybe don't just get first blooded at level 1 because you run into a 5v5 that you're never going to win. Maybe ban Tristana. Tier 1 is just too good on that champion. It's also obviously a flexible pick, so it's hard to counter. But into the draft we go, and look at that, they banned Tristana.
Yep, that seems to make a lot of sense to me. The Wukong ban as well. Once again, a lot of focus on these jungler bans, which is, I think, much more of a benefit to SBTC than Team Wales, and you can kind of see by who is banning the majority of the junglers, because TNK's been around for a long time. His champion pool is significantly deeper. You can always reach into things and pull out the Nocturne and such, but he's going to grab the Sejuani for himself, pretty much show Killer Queen how you're actually supposed to play it. This is a Kayn hover, and Killer Queen goes to the Maokai. I am going to be very disappointed. He's played a lot of it, but I've never been impressed by his Maokai, even though it is a sort of 50% win rate. It's not a Killer Queen champion, and I just don't like it. I don't like it. And I don't like the Jace either. This is not a Team Wales champion.
Nagia has been having a good couple of games though, so maybe he can put on a show on the Jace. We'll have to see.
Okay. Oh no, it's gonna be a Zeri, so the game is just going to be at least 50% less enjoyable to watch.
Zeri Lulu, let's go. You know it's coming. That's going to be locked in, no doubt. It is a strong bot lane for SBTC if we try and move past casters just molding and everything. That is a good pickup for Slater Paulette. Paulette, who's been having a fantastic series. Lulu, actually a pretty traditionally good champion for him. And Rock extremely early on and just sort of giving up your potential top side flex. You're giving yourself, letting both of your solo lanes get counter-picked, and it means DNK and D are just more than happy to, or rather SPTC were able to just ban out big engaged champions that could, in the spore position perhaps, like the Nautilus, like Poliona, that could probably put a damper on a Zeri's day if it gets that way. Take away the Varus from Vid. Statistically, it's one of his best champions, but it's, I'm not as scared of it after game 2, but you don't have that Nautilus this time around to really try and punish it. So this seems a fair response from SBTC. And the Ornn ban against Enpa. It's a good ban for a Malphite lane, but it's not really an Enpa pick I would have thought of. No, it isn't, but it's still something he could go to. Enpa will play tanks on occasion, so just removing it in general, not the worst decision ever. Varus and Aphelios also taken away, kind of pigeonholes towards Nami Lucian, unless they were going to go a Jinx Thresh. But
Jinx is so much better. This is just a Team Wales drafts always make me want to cry. Eventually, in game 1, they'll give me something that's amazing, and it's like, oh, this is fantastic. Then they'll do a game 2 draft. Then they'll do what they're doing now, and I don't feel happy. It does not spark joy.
But It is
This is good.
what it
Counter.
is. But we like. Oh,
no, I don't like it as much anymore.
Darius. That's exciting. Let's see if it gets locked in before we make any real comments. This would be very, very exciting. I'd love an end for Darius or an end for Kled. I'll take that.
I was hoping for an end for Rumble, honestly, given the matchup, but
Scion would be so. Can't hover. They hover Darius, and then they lock in Scion.
if that's a Scion mid, that feels a little bit better for me, I think, personally, but this is gonna... Bit of an interesting choice of solos to go in there, and of course Nami to round it out, so we're just going to go back to Zeri Lulu Lucian Nami, Zeri Lulu Lucian Nami. I'm so over this, man.
Yep.
The game has dropped from 50% enjoyable with Zeri Lulu to about 1% enjoyable, because at least we can always rely on Ron.
I personally think it's really professional for casters to say the game's not enjoyable and that people shouldn't watch. But anyway, moving on.
I think players should learn that champions that are actually good instead of sticking for the same crappy things for 2 years.
Good analysis.
They are paid. I am not. I'm allowed to get snuffy.
You done? So, as much as you hate these drafts, which one do you actually think is better?
I definitely actually lean much more towards. I definitely lean much more towards SBTCs. Zeri has held up a lot better in over time than Evolution sort of has. The Rumble is a bit of a weird one. The solo lanes are a little bit weird, but both these champions are pretty fine. The Rumble, it definitely comes down to how well does the Rumble perform, because otherwise it's very nice, very standard. It's fairly standard composition across the board, and they can play front to back, keep the Zeri alive extremely well. Yeah, it's really just the Rumble that throws that one out, and maybe it's a little bit disappointing given the hovers, but the draft is fine. On the other side, I'm like, the top side's fine. I hate Lucian Nami, but the top side is fine. It's just not a Wales top side, and it is Scion mid, so this works out 100% fantastic for SBTC. It's what I wanted to see. Bit confused about the girls' choice into the Jace, but okay, this is the opposite of game 1, game 2.
We love good manners.
Yeah, this is complete opposite of game 2 in terms of a level 1. Just walking up and saying hello. We're gonna see. How can they make it work?
We love some good manners out of the players. As a deep ward will spot D&K starting position. Killer Queen looks to be starting on the top side. Should be a fairly slow start to the game unless the Lucian Nami decides to try anything.
Yeah, but trying something at level 1 Lucian Nami into this matchup, it's just not going to work out very well. Slater and Paulette, even without that early jump onto B, are just destined to have control of the lane in these early levels of the matchup. Vit has to just try and hold on till level 3, but that's just not going to work out very well, as he's going to try and fish as best as he can for all these first strike procs, but full control of the bot side to SBTC. Full control of the top side should also go to SBTC. Mid lane, at least, does go to Team Wales, so make Killer Queen can make something happen, because he doesn't have to worry too much about a mid lane roam coming in to interrupt his make him bleh.
Words
coming in to ruin his day on a counter gank. There we are. Words are hard.
We got there. It's okay. It is. Look, it's just the shove from the Lulu Zeri, I should say, doing good stuff here for SE. Good work there from Vit. Does manage to get that first strike proc. Does get some damage down onto Slater, as D&K might try and make a dive happen. The gear is fairly low. This is a little bit dangerous. He's spotted now. Nagia has flash. What can he do?
Comes up is good, but it's not much he can do.
Yeah, I mean, look, they finally pull the trigger. There's the flash being used. D&K going low, but not going down. A nice first blood there for SE.
Yeah, bit of a wasted flash from Nagira, guess trying to dodge a harpoon or something, but very little he can do. Teleport's going to come back in. The plus side is DNK took too much damage. He can't stick around for a round 2 and leave him in a complete hole, but it's good first blood. It's on to Emperor, and this matchup is just going to get so unplayable for Nagia. And until level 6, maybe then he can try and look for something, but the idea is he'll be too far down, especially with this first strike being free farmed by the Rumble. Those are full soak shoes already. Get good night, Maokai, honestly.
Yeah, Malphite in a fair bit of trouble.
Malphite, that's the one.
Yep.
Same thing.
It's all right.
Good night, Maokai, if he ever walks into a Rumble, I suppose, but
Yeah.
that's a lot less likely.
I mean, a good way to beat trees is with a flamethrower. As Killer Queen having it invade, DNK knows fully that he's here, so doesn't manage to do it, and the Scion
nice.
TPing back in. They're not going to push anything further.
Yeah, that DNK did end up picking up pretty much that entire camp, picking up all the low health chickens with the Q, and then getting that smite down. So Killer Queen just kind of had his time wasted. DNK has decided to get real spicy with it, picking up that Dark Seal. He's feeling confident this time around, and if he can just walk up topside and make a repeat of that first gank happen again, why not?
Yeah, we will see as, fair bit of damage onto Paulette. Slater firing back, not firing back too well though, as Vit does manage to outtrade him pretty handily. And SC's bot lane now pushed back under their tower. Not that they particularly mind that scenario, as up on the top side, we're getting a bit of dirty farming behind the tower, really making Nagia's life hard. But he doesn't care, he's just grooving.
Killer Queen being in the area does mean the dive will not come through, which is good from Nagia, but it does mean he's gonna have a little bit of stroke time trying to farm up into this against the Rumble. Killer Queen actually managed to smite the big Grump as well, so he doesn't have to worry about... So he doesn't lose a full camp and on that top side and feels okay. And then the stop bot side, we're actually starting to see the swing come through. Slater managed to cheat a recall and pick up a Cull, so he's going to get a little bit further ahead as long as this wave lane just continues playing out very evenly. But the trades are going back the way of Team Wales now, so they have a little bit of control, and oh boy, poor Nagia.
Equalizer comes down. Nagia is in so much trouble. There's, again, nothing he can do. He wasn't level 6. It was just that early jungle attention that has meant he's now 0-2, 20 CS down, and that's gone from bad to worse.
Yeah, that's honestly one of the best. That's the best Rumble ult I've ever seen in the VCS. It cut the path off so well. There's nothing Emperor could really do. And Glory now in this matchup, I spy a God Drinker being built. I spy the components of a God Drinker coming on through. So there's going to be a very aggressive Jace going to play a lot more for the hammer form. There should be Dragon going down. Yeah, no.
Yep.
No miracle glitter lance coming on through to take that away, but
the train is coming in. Dia1 flashing forward. Glory will flash away, seeing DNK coming in. So just a trade of summoner spells of the mid laners. Glory will be feeling that a bit more.
Where did he come from? Why was Dia was just hanging out in the top river, I guess, just looking for the train in, but that's a small pickup for Team Wales overall. The trade for summoners isn't going to be that bad. It's better, of course, for Dia1 because he's a tanky fellow who is not under actually too much threat by a Jason and tank Maokai, so he's going to be just fine, but it's Glory who has to be a little bit more concerned. As we keep playing out, it's about 2,000 gold ahead for SBTC. Pretty much all of that in the top lane as Nagia is getting absolutely crushed. This Malphite rather, finally being properly counterpicked by the VCS with this Rumble coming on through and just putting it to task. There is nothing that Nagia can do. He's down 0-2. He's finally level 6, so maybe he can turn around a team fight if he can ever leave the lane, but just against this pressure of the Rumble, not much. Not really finding the angle, finding the opportunity as a failed start for SBTC.
Yep, and this should be uncontested. I can't see Team Wales moving over to this one. There's just no need to. Just give this one up. It's a plate and a half. It's okay. It has to also be said that this top lane gap has largely come from the back of DNK, to be completely honest. He has had fantastic timing on his ganks up there. It's not Nagia playing badly, it's DNK and Enpa playing very, very well. There's been really no opportunity for counterplay. We need to see Killer Queen exist.
Yeah, like this is just the problem with Maokai. It's just such a non-champion in the early games. Unless you're really fantastic at tracking the enemy jungle and are always present to make a counter gank, you just don't have any real early pressure, and this just means things like when you have such a strong counter pick like this top lane, this is kind of the inverse of what happened in game 1, where
Slater was just getting very low.
Yeah, where Enpa was just getting his
dive.
His shit rocked, but okay.
Well, speaking of rock, Nagia doing everything he can, but what he can do is a very, very short list. As he does manage to make Enpa flash, but that's about it. He's going to lose his tower.
Yeah, just not sort of ulting a little bit preemptively, perhaps. There wasn't a... DNK wasn't really in a position where he had to stick around and take the damage, and kind of can do that on his own, and Nagia just, like, yeah, it's DNK is tanking. He has the passive in, so he can tank tower shots for a while. Doesn't get any extra follow-up damage either, but yeah, it's just this Malphite cannot do a damn thing. The plus side is now he doesn't have an out of tower. He can play a lot safer at this one, but you're playing with no pressure on the top side of the map, so SBTC should just have complete run. DNK absolutely crushing this early game. Honestly, these past 2 games overall, just beating out Killer Queen, having far more impact, far more agency. Now Killer Queen's going to try and look for something now he's 6, but...
Yeah, he's going to pop the ult. Can Slater get the distance with a flash? He can.
Yeah, flash and heal, so that's not bad. Not bad. You didn't invest all that much, and you got two summoner spells out of it, but you really need to start finding a win somewhere on the map, really. And you were hoping maybe this bot lane could get something going, but it's just not. This Lucian army once again falling short, unable to our ADCs in the league not really able to put the pressure on as necessary. And now here comes Rumble.
Yeah, and he is a big one. That is a good bubble to hold Slater up. Killer Queen the target. Another wave to split the team. Killer Queen flashing away. Honestly, B might have just about done enough heroics to save the jungler, but he's still under siege. And no, the final bubble misses. Vit, why are you still here, mate? Needs to get over the wall. Does finally. As Enpa whips out a harpoon, and look who's here. It's DNK. They collapse onto Glory. And oh no, it's Jova.
Yeah, no, that's just no real response. They try to make the collapse, but Glory's just not able to actually have an impact. She would have been better off just hard forcing mid lane, trying to knock out some plates, but goes in, gets caught off by DL1 and by DNK, and ends up giving his life away for nothing. Just another big play coming out from the side of SBTC, and B did his best, but just missed that one bubble that might have actually been enough to turn it around. Okay, why are we going for a round 2? This seems. Like
they have a good advantage here. This is a free kill onto DR1. Just take this. Yeah, 100%, easy.
Yeah. Okay. They find the kill,
you have them
but
sectioned off. Yeah, that was easy.
I don't know. It is something. It's all right, but yeah, just I was expecting a full round 2, but everyone else on SBTC split, so they just give away DNK and Hello Slater. You're quite low. BS just gonna stop a recall and be a nuisance.
Yep, and this does mean that Vit will probably get another tower plate, so he is actually fairly big. It's just a question of, can this Lucian actually do anything against the Rumble? It's really hard because he just doesn't have the effective range to play around the Equalizer and the Flame Spitter.
No, just once again, like Lucian just comes down to being a culling bot essentially, and that culling does do a lot of damage and a lot of burst, and that's why we tend to see this idea that if Lucian can get ahead, that even though you might not ever you might not pick up a kill. The culling does enough to force someone back. They go back to base. You just crush the 4v5 in terms of pressure and get an objective, but we're just not seeing the leads actually coming out from these Lucians that are able, or they're just not getting the angles correct on their cullings and not able to ever actually force the angles in. But that's played out of position.
Looking for something. Does a fair bit of damage, but DNK was there to soak up the culling.
Yeah.
But still, good killer instinct there from Vit.
And this is a place where you actually do want that Warmogs coming out from DNK. I believe it's still a bit early to tell. That can go into a Radiant Virtue either way, but you're up against Glory, who's going to be throwing a Shot Blast. You're up against Vit, whose pretty much entire kit is based around one button, and you can just walk up, soak that culling, walk away, heal back up, and you're in a very good position.
Oh, Vit in a bit of trouble. Fantastic cleanse though, bit of a Captain Jack. Trying to get away. Equalizer is a little bit stuffed there. Doesn't really get anything done, as I don't think you want to try and turn this Wales, but Vit does manage to survive.
Yeah, it's really nice bowler coming out from DNK to force that cleanse out from Vit, predicting the dash perfectly, but they can't follow up on it. The cleanse is a bit too good. This health advantage or disadvantage on the AD carry might lead to a victory over this Rift Herald, but a bit too much poke, bit too much concern for SBTC that this might just end up going to the side of Team Wales. Gives them a bit of free pressure on the map to work with.
Yeah, this is not bad at all, but I don't think it's locked up, as here comes SBTC, and yeah, Team Wales is just going to back off, let this one reset. They don't want to try and fight this.
Yeah, especially with Vit and B looking to back, try and restock the mana bar, restock the health. But this has drawn a lot of the pressure away from SBTC. They're just gonna get to push in the top side, which isn't going to get them all that much. We're still seeing a huge lead for this top side, and just not being able to, Nagia rather, not being able to find any real CS. And okay, maybe Slater out of position.
Yeah, there is a catch coming in here. They need to blow him up before that teleport finishes. They do it well, and Dia1 just kind of here to spectate his ADC dying.
Yeah, it's a lot blown, but it is the AD carry, and this should net them the reward, unless DNK can find an angle, but I don't think that's likely to be the case. It's just second Rift Herald. It could convert into a mid lane tower as well, given how low that is, but this is just a nice committal and a great layering from CC by Killer Queen. Flash W, gets the knock, sets the ult up, but gets the knockback in time that it knocks him a little bit further before the roots. Just maximizing the potential, gets him in range so Glory doesn't have to blow his flash either to secure the kill.
Yeah, it's all looking very interesting. It is just this lead still for SE. Sorry, he was trying to eat my food, and I had to take it away from him, so he's very upset. It is this 3k gold lead for SE, but that still is almost entirely the top lane. Malphite as well is a champion that can operate on much lower gold. In the end, all Nagia has to do is land a big ult and put a little bit more.
I mean, technically, Emperor only has to do the same, but it's a little bit harder for him to execute that, but than just point-click rock. But anyway, Dragon is now up. This is going to be the start. It's the Mountain Rift, so these two tanks of SBTC are really going to want that.
Yeah, they give this up. They don't mind. Team Wales, yeah, this is not a big deal. You don't need to fight over this one. You're happy enough taking the top lane tower in trade. It's only the second dragon for SE. No real loss there, but SE are obviously still happy.
Yes. You definitely, like, these individual Mountain Drake individually is, in my opinion, one of the most game-changing individual Drake, but especially when you have two tanks on your side, that's going to provide a hell of a lot for your team. And as we look across now, the items, there is just that little bit of extra gold coming in for the side of DNK in the jungle. He's managed to pick up his full mythic, but mythics are getting done across the board. Otherwise, just Palette missing out on the side of SBTC. So Teamfight's going to start doing a lot of impact, and once again, it's kill Nagia angle, but okay.
He's
gonna ult the
ulting
wave
just to
and he
clear
should
the
be
wave.
fine.
Yeah, that's good stuff there by Nagia. Keeps the tower alive. Yeah, well done.
This does mean he's not going to have an ult for any other engagement. That teleport is not actually his. I got bamboozled. It is Glory going into just walk through a jungle and have a bit of fun.
Yeah, he's just moving up to the top side. Was just TPing, closer to the wave. Didn't want to hold his own wave up, of course. So yeah, no, good stuff there. Good stuff by Nagia. His ult will be up before it's needed. There's no objectives on the map. Keeps the bot lane tower alive for at least a little bit longer. Forces Enper to stay here. And it should mean that his team can pick up the mid lane tower because the Rumble's not here to reinforce. Oh dear.
All right.
Killer Queen going on a journey. DNK with the flash will be able to get out. And the mid lane tower will fall. Good stuff by Team Wales.
Yeah, wave invested just so Killer Queen can walk out. But yeah, that was a bit ambitious going onto the tank, but not having any of that armor penetration coming through yet from Vets, not having really any damage on the Maokai either. So it was a little bit optimistic, but they get what they actually came here for, which is that mid lane tower, and hopefully for Wales, they're really looking for that to break open control of the map, let them set up position around objectives a little bit cleaner, a little bit better. But DNK is just camping for Enper, making sure. So Nagira is going to have to abandon this tower pretty soon. But no ultimate from DNK, so it's probably not actually going to be a kill threat. And he's just going to leave, and this should give an angle for the tower to fall down.
Yeah, eventually it will go down. In the end, it's only a bot lane outer, so it's actually not that big a deal. The delay was more important in that it allowed Team Wales to pick up the mid lane tower. Nagia just trying to walk away. Does have the ultimate if he needs it, but he's actually able to hold on to it. Just walks away. The tower falls, but that's no huge deal at this stage. We are just still sitting at this 2,000 gold lead, the Enper gap, as we can call it, as Team Wales does have advantage on the rest of the map, and they're going to use it to shove in the top side.
Yeah, it's also just so sad for the Malphite, because he has to build all this magic resist when he really doesn't want to. Is that we don't actually have any magic resist scaling tanks anymore since Galio rework came on through. Nobody really scales off it particularly well. But yeah, we have a couple of armor tanks, and Nagia is definitely one of them on the Malphite. So feeling a little bit weaker, not going to have quite as much nuke potential coming on through with this magic resist rush. Priority coming in early on. It's good up against SBTC because even Slater is doing a fair chunk of magic damage. Can he get this though? He can, and hello, Vit.
Yep, and the team is here. They can move in onto Enper. This is a big shutdown as well. Vit gets it. He does a lot of damage on the way out, but it's not enough, and that's a big swing there for Team Wales.
Yeah, and it was a really nice bubble attempt from B, and okay, they're going to try and kill Glory. Hold that.
Yep, they're moving in. It's a lot of CC. Glory trying to get away with a flash blast cone, but Zeri's just a little bit too far. Slater will hunt him down.
Yes, he can't escape Zeri. The flash did have to be committed though from Slater, and with Glory off the map, but it is in trade for Enper. This is going to keep continuing. There's no Vit yet, so this is a bit of a question mark.
This is a dangerous one. Killer Queen just using that twisted advance to get away. Lots of damage coming in, but no kills just yet. Dia 1 landing a knock-up. Killer Queen now in so much trouble. Has to just go for an engage. He falls down. Oh no, it's not going well at all. And Enper now joining the fray with the Flame Spitter. SE will just pick up a couple of kills and walk themselves out. Vit, careful, mate.
Decent chunk of damage, but yeah, DNK
Malphite ult nearly up. They've got a teleport. They might want to keep the pressure here. This actually gets them Dragon. This was really good. DNK, this is Dragon.
Yeah, there was enough pressure coming in to actually secure the Dragon. There's no Killer Queen, but yeah, DNK just simply too low to continue and contest, take that away. So that's a good play overall coming out from Team Wales. It could have been so much more, but a few heroics from DNK landing that Glacial Prison the moment the culling started, canceling that instantly, even though it got cleansed away. it means a good bulk of Vit's damage just didn't get to come out in that fight, so Team Wales had to play pretty carefully. They managed to win out in health trade, and that netted them an objective, but still another kill, still a couple of thousand gold for SBTC in the lead, and still hunting. Everyone's hunting for the next play. Baron now on the table. This is going to be where SBTC puts a lot of their attention in. And with these two strong side laners, they can just keep up the pressure on bot side as well.
They can. DNK, extremely tanky, is able to just sort of stand in the face of half of Team Wales. You good?
Why is my net so shit? My net's just cutting
Anyway, it doesn't matter. We'll power through it as a tower falls and Maokai ult whips across the team. Sejuani ult doesn't find anything, but does push Vit so far back. In goes Nagia. They're trying to get some one-shots onto the back line. It doesn't work out, though, as the Rumble damage rains on through. Nagia going low. DNK moving forward. Doesn't quite find anything. Everyone's still alive. Glory now joining the fray, trying to rain damage down as Tier 1 incredibly low.
Yeah, Vit not quite being able to get the execute with the Gale Force, but that's still a huge advantage in health coming out from side of Team Wales. Are they going to try and push their luck onto this Baron? I don't think so, with B getting hit by that laser. So now it's just a little bit of everybody just wandering around, not doing a hell of a lot. Bit of a fight for nothing. Nobody died. No objectives can be taken off the back of it. Just a bit of a scrap, just a bit of fun, just a bit of a how you doing in the mid lane.
First rule of ARAM Club is don't talk about ARAM Club, as that's kind of what we were seeing, but everyone has reset now. Glory with the last one to do so. 2.5 minutes on the next dragon. So yeah, there really is nothing on the map, and with all the ultimates down, it's time to go hit some minions.
Yeah, just gotta hit some minions, wait for the cooldowns to come back up. Flash is not really even being forced out all that much. Nagia, maybe Paulette as well, but a lot of the big ones are going to be up for Baron if that fight comes on through. Looking at Slater, there's still a moment to try and get on top of him. Still a small moment to try and get on top of Glory, but it's gonna be interesting. Can these shock blasts actually land either? That is also an important thing from Glory. Okay.
Into Killer Queen they go, using a lot onto the tank.
Oh,
and
that's
a
Slater
huge
caught.
rock into the backside. Can they actually find the damage? They will get one. They will get two. Can they find any more? Vit is on the hunt, and it was Nagia after a shocking lane phase. Yep, rock into the back line, and that's going to be Baron for Team Wales.
Nagia and B coming up huge, finding out Slater, who is the bulk of the damage for SBTC, letting Vit convert perfectly. They pick up Enpa as well. DNK is still around, but he has been chased well away by Glory. They're going to pick up this Baron. They're going to pick up mid lane Inner, and that is a huge gold swing for the side of Team Wales. Bring him back past even further ahead. Does Glory greed for an inhibitor turret? And we just see here.
Nagia.
Everything's chucked onto Killer Queen, but the ultimate, the follow-up bubble, it looks a little bit dicey as the Wild Growth and Shield Bow come on through, but there is still enough in the tank for Team Wales to take it down. Empa also getting blown up in the meantime on the AoE by Glory. That comes up huge. That gives Team Wales such a huge advantage. And now, can they angle it? Can they use it to push for a real base objective, or is that just going to amount to them getting to that soul point, which is still something Team Wales desperately wants? That's a full Thornton Mail now coming on out for Nagia.
Yeah, and this is one of the problems. Not that it was a bad decision to make, don't get me wrong. It's just the inherent risk with camping a Malphite lane. You set him really far behind. You got Emperor a huge lead. The issue is that it doesn't actually cost gold to press R. No matter how much gold Nagia has, he can still do that.
Nagia absolutely finds a great thing, but it's, to me, like the position of B able to convert on that immediately, because what you really want for a Malphite is the ability for him to just jump on someone, and he blows up one target pretty quickly. He does a significant amount of damage when he's ahead. but that they managed to punch through it even without that Malphite rock, without the rock damage coming on through. But this is coming at them, just that Drake so far. They haven't got a good wave set up to really try and push in and pick up any other towers on top of it. So maybe they can pick up one of these inner towers in top or bottom, but I'm not expecting this Baron to be anything that signals the end of the game.
Not quite yet, but it does push them into a very, very strong position. Because we've been talking about the 2 tanks on the side of SE, but of course, we have 2 tanks on the side of Team Wales as well that are picking up these Mountain Drakes. Nagia and Killer Queen are only going to get harder and harder to kill. The gold lead that is in the top lane was going to matter less and less as we get an engage going in, Tier 1 going low, going down. And the zombie will do nothing. DNK having to flash as well. End part zoned away. The Kia needs to be a little bit careful as the tower will fall and SE are just being routed.
Yeah, they're even going to teleport Glory in to try and maybe escort this wave, knock down an inhibitor tower in the mid lane as well. So this could be 2 inhibitor towers. This could be inhibitors as well as the teleport comes in to keep the minion alive through the equalizer.
They might be trying to find a way to win the game. Slater very far forward.
Flash,
all you need is a catch. Ooh. Nagia has ult. They could go for something. I don't think it's necessarily the best decision. Bang! In he goes. They catch Slater. That's absolutely massive. Now, can they actually find the siege tools? They don't have something like a Caitlyn to just poke away at the towers. I don't actually think they can finish the game. I don't think they can finish the game here. I think you just need to back off. They're going to have a crack. Glory taking some damage, moving in onto DNK.
Kill Emperor,
blown up. Tier 1 still in the front. All he has to do is kill the minions, Marby. And he's managed that, at least for now. Another wave will be reinforcing. 1 tower falls. Tier 1 on a mission from God. But it's not quite enough. Or is it? As in comes more and more damage. The zombie gets it. The shutdown is there. And they won't end the game.
Maybe they can't just end the game because they were not really able to get in and hit the towers quite as much as they would like. Tier 1 holds it long enough for Slater to respawn, and this means that the game does continue, but that is so much damage done to the base. 2 inhibitors, 1 Nexus tower down. It's gonna be a lot, and oh my god.
So, I'm convinced, just as we watch this play, I'm convinced that Xerries can't flash those. Because I think the issue is you're trying to use your Q, so you have your mouse positioned where you're aiming your Q, and then it's almost impossible to move your mouse and then hit flash fast enough. On other ADCs, you don't have to position your mouse like that. And that's why no one should play Zeri.
Potentially, but I feel like you're ducking your mouse in and out as on Zeri as you're to stutter step as if you're playing every other AD carry, I guess. But
you know, I'm joking, okay? I just don't want Zeri to get picked.
Yeah, but in the end, it's less so much that it's more that Slater didn't actually respond and let himself eat a shock blast, ended up on half health, and that just gave the angle, didn't back off, didn't give any real respect, just kept trying to stand up and was saying, yeah, I can flash it. I'm fine. Then didn't flash it. So we're up to this. We're onto the stage now where you can't really siege up against the Rumble, is because with the equalizer being able to just instantly clear a wave. But now with that gone, maybe the second one can walk in there. It's a very short range composition for SBTC. They do not have great wave clear beyond throw their bodies at it. So they don't really want to commit too much to defend this tower. That Rumble ultimate was enough. But now can you actually defend this inhibitor?
It's going to be hard. There's a bit of damage going in. They're not really pulling the trigger. They don't need to. They can just wait for the other waves to crash in and force SE. Baron is going to be on the map now. So we might see Wales wander over to that. Dragon 30 seconds away. They could just pick up a soul. They don't need to win yet.
Yeah, 30 seconds. Baron, it's not like you're giving up a soul to the enemy team either. I think they get
for it, but frankly, I think you get both.
You're very likely to, but this is not the fastest Baron in the world. DNK getting
DNK
uncomfortably
is
close.
here. This is going to be a 50-50.
Oh.
The smites were terrible, but it's okay. In the end, Killer Queen does secure it. Slater hopping over the wall. They try and hunt him down. They do it successfully.
Glory.
That's one. Vit has gone down. Glory's in the base, but has to contend with two very angry chickens. Nagia on the TP. DNK can't stop him. We need to look at the base observers. Here we are, finally, as Glory is giving them the business, giving them what for. Deal one, first of all, has that zombie passive. Of course, Nagia, no ult was used in the team fight. Glory, kiting the zombie out. Be careful there, mate. Tower on its way down. Enpa is here, but the rest of Team Wales is not too far away. They will clean up Enpa. They will clean up the tiebreaker eventually once they decide to hit the Nexus. They want to pad their stats first. But Team Wales, they built a star-studded roster for this split, and they have come in second place. You can't about that.
They come alive in the team fights after what was a pretty disastrous early game. It has to be said from the side of Team Wales. Killer Queen absent, Nagia just getting constantly camped and dove. But they managed to find good team fight angles, especially that first one that got them that Baron. Nagia able to find the angles and convert onto Slater, who just was not playing safely enough, not playing with enough respect, getting caught out a couple of times too many, and they managed to bring it in. They managed to secure second place, did Team Wales, and that means first round they cannot be picked by Gum. Are they going to play SBTC again?
Probably.
Possibly.
So the only wrinkle...
But we're going to have to find out.
From a tactical point of view, right? If you're thinking tactically, Garm chooses Cerberus every day of the week, right? Cerberus is clearly the weaker team. You pick them every day of the week, but they don't like SBTC. That is the biggest rivalry we have in the VCS, is they hate SBTC, and they might just want to knock them down to the losers bracket. We'll find out. As you can see on the screen, playoffs will be beginning on April 14th, which is just this weekend. So you don't have too long without us. We'll be bringing you more VCS action very, very soon. But with that, we will be saying good night from myself and Marvin Ogie. This is VCS English, bringing you all the VCS action. We'll see you this weekend.